Imagine working for 40 years, saving consistently, investing diligently, and finally reaching retirement with a large nest egg. You log into your account, ready to enjoy the wealth you built, only to realize that 20% or even 30% of it immediately goes to the government in taxes. That is the reality for many retirees who use traditional retirement accounts. But it does not have to be your reality. There is a specific type of account designed to legally prevent that from happening. It is not a secret strategy for the ultra-wealthy. It is available to ordinary working people, and when used correctly over decades, it can turn consistent investing into completely tax-free wealth. Today we are breaking down exactly how the Roth IRA works and why it is one of the most powerful long-term wealth-building tools available. Before we go further, we need to clear up a common misunderstanding. A Roth IRA is not an investment. It is an account. Think of it as a container or a protective basket. Inside that basket, you place investments like index funds, stocks, or bonds. The account itself does not grow your money. The investments inside it do. What makes the Roth IRA powerful is how the government treats it for tax purposes. IRA stands for Individual Retirement Arrangement, and the Roth version was created in the late 1990s under legislation championed by William Roth. The defining feature of this account is simple but powerful. You contribute money that has already been taxed, and in exchange, all future growth can be withdrawn completely tax-free in retirement. To understand why that matters, we need to compare it briefly to a traditional IRA. With a traditional IRA, you receive a tax deduction today. That lowers your taxable income now. However, when you retire and begin withdrawing money, every dollar you take out, including all of the investment growth, is taxed as regular income. You delayed the taxes, but you did not eliminate them. A Roth IRA works in the opposite way. You pay taxes up front on the money you contribute. There is no immediate tax deduction. But once that money is inside the account, it grows year after year without being taxed. And when you retire, both your original contributions and all of the profits can be withdrawn entirely tax-free, as long as you follow the account rules. Now let's look at why this becomes so powerful over time. Imagine someone is 25 years old and decides to invest $7,000 per year into a Roth IRA. That is about $583 per month. Let's assume they invest in a diversified portfolio of index funds and earn an average annual return of 7%, which reflects long-term historical market averages, although returns are never guaranteed. After 10 years, they have contributed $70,000, and the account may be worth around $100,000. After 20 years, they have contributed $140,000, and the account may have grown to roughly $300,000. By age 65, after 40 years of consistent investing, they would have contributed $280,000 in total. But the account value could be approximately $1.4 million. Here's the key point. Only $280,000 came from their pocket. Over $1 million came from growth. In a traditional IRA, that growth would be taxed upon withdrawal. In a Roth IRA, it can be withdrawn completely tax-free. That difference can easily mean hundreds of thousands of dollars saved. Of course, because the benefit is so strong, the government sets rules around who can contribute and how much. To contribute to a Roth IRA, you must have earned income, meaning income from a job or self-employment. Investment income alone does not qualify. There are also income limits that restrict high earners from contributing directly. These limits adjust over time, so it is important to check the current thresholds each year. Additionally, there is an annual contribution limit, which is set by the IRS and typically increases gradually with inflation. You cannot exceed that yearly cap. And if you miss a year, you cannot go back and make it up later. One unique advantage of the Roth IRA is flexibility. Because you already paid taxes on your contributions, you can withdraw your original contributions at any time without taxes or penalties. However, you generally cannot withdraw the investment earnings penalty-free until you are at least 59.5 years old and have held the account for at least 5 years. This structure encourages long-term investing while still giving you some access to your principal, if absolutely necessary. There are a few common mistakes to avoid. The first is funding the account but failing to invest the money. Simply transferring cash into the Roth IRA is not enough. You must actively choose investments inside the account. Otherwise, the money may sit in a low-yield money market position and barely grow. Another mistake is attempting to aggressively trade or chase speculative investments. The true power of the Roth IRA comes from decades of steady compounding, not short-term bets. Because annual contribution limits are relatively low, losing money on high-risk trades can be especially damaging, since you cannot easily replace that lost tax-advantaged space. Finally, some people miss the contribution deadline, not realizing that each tax year has a specific cutoff date, typically aligned with the tax filing deadline in April of the following year. A Roth IRA is particularly powerful for people early in their careers who are currently in lower tax brackets. Paying taxes now at a lower rate in exchange for tax-free withdrawals later can be mathematically advantageous. It is also useful for anyone who wants tax diversification in retirement, meaning a mix of taxable and tax-free income sources to control their tax burden strategically. However, for very high earners or those currently in peak tax brackets, other retirement accounts that offer upfront deductions may sometimes make more sense depending on their situation. It is important to remember that investing always involves risk. Market returns fluctuate, and future performance is never guaranteed. Always evaluate your own situation carefully or consult with a qualified financial professional before making major decisions. The core takeaway is simple. The Roth IRA is not magic. It is a structural advantage. By paying taxes up front and allowing decades of uninterrupted tax-free compounding, you shift the long-term math dramatically in your favor. Success with this account is rarely about timing the market. It is about starting early, investing consistently, and staying disciplined. If you understand how powerful the container is, the next logical question becomes what you should actually put inside it. In the next video, we will break down how index funds work, why they are often the preferred choice for long-term investors, and how to build a simple, diversified portfolio inside your Roth IRA. If this helped clarify things for you, consider subscribing so you do not miss that next step in building long-term wealth.